Red Horizon might be one of the craziest patches we have had in a long time. The Division have just posted about it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We're going to get straight into all of the juicy details as we've got our PTS patch notes. Now, there's a lot of things to go through here, and we'll probably go through most of this when the PTS actually goes live, because it's talking again a lot about modifiers, dark zone modifiers, and things like that. But let's take away the important parts before we look at the actual crazy parts as well. The PTS build's going to be 100 gig. You're able to play it from 2 p.m. CEST on Friday through to Monday. That's all as normal, but just remember this is PC only, and if you're a console player, just be sure to check out my channel, as I will post absolutely everything I find on the PTS. It's one of my favorite times of the season, even though it actually doesn't count towards any of my progress. We've got the global modifiers, which is called Under Pressure, that Leo showed us on the live stream the other day, and you can see here you basically do things to kill enemies and you get your gauge that gets filled up, and then with that you actually get bonuses, which is pretty cool, and you can stack them as well, like it said here. For example, a headshot kill grants 2.5% for the kill itself and another 2% for the headshot, for a total of 4.5%. So yeah, pretty cool. And I'm hoping it's going to be very good, because there's no cooldown on these modifiers either. So yeah, pretty good. And the three we've got is the Fiery Aura, Vicarious Combustion, and Signed Shield Delivered. Obviously, all to go with the burning theme of this season. But we'll go through these when the actual PTS comes up and we can see them in action a little bit more. Just reading patch notes isn't too much fun. But you get the idea with these as well. Got a whole bunch of passive modifiers this season, quite a few, and some particularly interesting ones to look at here. For instance, like armor kits also grants 100% bonus armor and restore 100% of your shield's maximum health. Pretty crazy. Firestarter, concussion grenades, flashbangs, and cluster grenades gain 100% range and apply a short burn to enemies. Just imagine that with the prototype augments that we've got that make the range even bigger. So yeah, pretty crazy. There's just so many good ones. Microwave coils makes a return. Up to 4 enemies affected by pulse have a 30% chance to receive the burn status effect. And it really feels like, to be honest, we might be seriously powerful when this comes along. So I can't wait to try it out. And then, of course, we've got the hostile modifiers as well. Season 3 will come with a new variant of the PvP Dark Zone, the Blackout Dark Zone, and the return of the PvE Toxic Dark Zone, with some changes applied. Dark Zone variants will rotate every week across all 3 of the DZs. And we'll have access to test all 3 of these DZs as well. The Toxic Dark Zone is back, but with a few changes. There's new factions in there. The sample canisters have been removed. The toxicity debuff values have been adjusted. And when you extract, it actually now resets your toxicity level, which is pretty cool. PvP normalization has been removed, so now you'll get your full stats from your build as if you're playing in the light zone as well. But prototype gear is remaining normalized in there, so it'll just get adjusted to its lowest values. So that's pretty cool as well. Well, let's take a quick look at the Blackout Dark Zone here that you can see. That Blackout one is permanently set to Invaded with Black Tusk enemy archetypes. Rogue Protocol remains active. So that's pretty good as well. Blackout completely disables stat normalization, and you can use your full extent of your SHD, watch, and expertise. It still follows PvP global balance rules regardless of normalization to keep gear, weapons, skills, and PvP core mechanics balanced, but prototype weapons and gear are uncapped for their base value stats, but their augments will still use PvP balance values introduced the other day. I've not had a chance to look at them yet, but I guess we'll see. And this will be the time to do a bit more testing, just in case we need to do or give any feedback. But there's a couple of other cool things as well. Exotic components. So challenging landmark Phoenix crates. 33% chance to drop an exotic component. Pretty cool. Challenging landmark bosses. 40% chance to drop an exotic component. Heroic landmark Phoenix crates. 40% chance to drop an exotic component. And heroic landmark bosses a 48% chance to drop an exotic component. Meaning if you're playing the Dark Zone, you might end up loaded with exotic components. Prototype gear and prototype weapons have also been added to the contaminated loot drops for enemies, although they are pretty low. There's a whole change of skills and brand set bonuses for PvP. The brand set bonuses leading on from the previous balance pass that we got, but now obviously skills are being put into check, which is really important because skills have always dominated the Dark Zone and they are pretty horrible. And then this gets to the much juicier stuff that we have not quite yet had chance to look at, but we're getting updates to gear, weapons and talents. Year 8 Season 3 brings new weapons and gear, as well as several updates to existing gear sets, brand sets and talents. There's an overview here which we'll go back into in just a moment, but as you can see, gear sets will be rebalanced around the idea the more difficult a set is to use at its full potential, the more it should give back in return. Red Horizon, we are starting with mostly red core gear sets, with Ortiz X-Zero and True Patriot also included in the pass. Blue and yellow core sets will come later as they require more individual changes than simply adjusting their bonuses to give them a meaningful update, which is good to hear. Brand sets will not only be rebalanced through a number of changes, but also by swapping attributes in and out, which undoubtedly is going to make some people upset because this is likely to have effect on people's builds. But we'll have a look at the balancing and what it is that they've done to kind of see if it is actually a fair pass on what it is that they're doing. They're removing shot resistance, health, incoming repairs and swap speed from brand set bonuses completely, but protection from elites is now being added. For each weapon type, there will be at least one brand that gives the bonus as a 1-piece and another that gives it as a 2-piece. Increased threat will be removed from imminent armament and spread across blue core brands instead, leading into that tank fantasy, I guess. These attribute changes will also only apply in PvP. These attribute changes will also apply to PvP. Unlike PvE, there are no number changes intended to buff or nerf individual brands. Protection from elite and threat bonuses will also generally come after bonuses such as armor regen, meaning we'll get armor regen much earlier up the set than we would anything else. More niche bonuses such as explosive damage will remain unchanged. Starting with Year 8 Season 3, we'll no longer be adding brand sets to the game, which is pretty crazy. This does not mean that new gear pieces will stop being added going forward. Instead, adding 6 high-end pieces and 2 normal named pieces, we will add more named pieces with perfect talents or attributes to existing brands. And I do wonder what will happen when they'll run out, because I do imagine that will be pretty quick. But will we start to see named talents on other sets that we don't usually see them on? Then we've got the determined change that they've talked about. It is essentially now being put to the same as perfect determined, which for veteran players, that's been fully expected. Newer players might be a little bit more disappointed with this, but it's a fix that happened once before, then got reverted, and now is happening again. And essentially that's because Headhunter is extremely powerful, and you pair them together and it becomes easy mode sniping. But then we are getting the Iron Will chest piece to go with that, and I'm sure they'll mention that in just a minute. We've got the new Fafnir shotgun. The weapon fires dragon breath shells. Each shot has a 10% chance of applying burn to the enemy. Weapon damage is amplified by 30% of your status effect bonus, which is interesting. We've then got some new gloves that are exotic. It's the climax reward and will not feature in the PTS. Loaded for burr. Hitting enemies applies stacks to them. An enemy cannot have more than 20 stacks applied to them. When reloading, all stacks will be consumed to deal 2% weapon damage per stack to the enemy they are applied on. Oh, that could be pretty good. That could be pretty good. So, and especially for guns with lower magazine size, because you can only apply 20 stacks. Looking forward to testing them. They actually could be pretty good. We got the Ember Engine new set as well, which is the skill set. We got the new named pieces. Essentially bringing in some perfect talents that have been missing for a long time. We've then got the new named guns with the new talent boiling point. But as you can see, it's nowhere near as good as what it was shown in the PTS stream. In fairness, Leo did say everything was subject to change. But yeah, it's probably DOA if you look at that. So for instance, the first 80% of your magazine has minus 100% crit chance. The rest will have 100. I just don't see why you would ever run that. But maybe I'm just being a bit short-sighted. And then we've got the PTS caches for people to stock up on the gear if they've not got a stacked out character already. But this is where things get really spicy. I know this video is pretty long. I am going to do a very separate video on this kind of balance instead. But you can see here that Ortiz Exuro has generally had a buff. It's now got a 10-meter range and it deals 40% amp damage instead of 25. True Patriot. 2-piece bonus is now 15% weapon handling. They've removed the ammo capacity. The 4-piece bonus now gives us 15% debuff damage. So they basically, enemies take 15% more damage. White has remained the same, but the damage that they deal to us has been gone up to 10. But what we've not seen is the chest and backpack, because although yes, that is a bit of a buff. Let's see what it actually goes. So challenge waving the flag increases red, white and blue rotation to 1 second, so that's good. But if you wear the backpack, holy smokes, the buff goes from 15 to 30%. The team will absolutely love you. White actually gets a buff from 2 to 5 and blue goes from 10 to 20. We're looking into making the debuffs only work for your subgroup. If that doesn't doesn't happen, the numbers might be adjusted. Okay, so if you've got more than a 4-man group like a raid or something, there's actually... Oh, that's a shame. I really hope they get it working for subgroup only. Aces and Eights has had double damage assigned to the 2-piece bonus. And then also weapon handling added. It's also had the 5-card flip damage put up from 30 to 75. And then the chest talent then goes up to 100. This sounds pretty crazy. Breaking points had a slight buff up to 30 to match aces and eights. So I'm seeing a theme here. Weapon handling's been added to the 3-piece, just like aces as well. And it's had the timer increase from 10 to 20 and now 20 to 40 with the chest talent. And the backpack from 4 to 9. Pretty good. Hot shots first shot's gone from 20 to 80. I mean, these are some huge sniper buffs, which now makes sense that Determined got fixed. They're bringing snipers up to essentially, hopefully, be in line with all of the sets. Concentrated Company. The marks last for 10 seconds now rather than 7. And a 1% critical hit damage buff there. 3 to 6 on the weapon damage if you use the backpack. Negotiators has had a buff. Whenever a marked enemy dies, again, gain 10% critical hit damage rather than 2. Oh, but stacking's been reduced to 10. That's still a buff though. because it was 20% previously. So 2% and 20. Oh, no, it was 40% previously, but no, it's 100. So that's had a buff. Hollow point ammo. The amp damage has gone from 20 to 40 on ongoing directive. And the chest now gives you 60 rather than 50. Another buff. Everything is buffed. Tipping skills. I don't really see that as a buff at all. The weapon handling and... So the crit damage has gone from 4 to 5, which seems insignificant. And the stacks have gone from 5 to 8. That seems pretty insignificant. And then we've got the balancing of the brand sets. So we've got the before and the after here as well. And I'm going to just flick through these. I'll make a proper video on this once I've kind of weighed up the numbers. But you can see here, like China Light now no longer has its skill haste moved to the 3-piece bonus, but had it buffed and status effect is now here. Electric now has Hasbro and skill efficiency. Empress, welcome on in, has gone from 10% skill health, 10% skill damage, 8% skill efficiency to 10% skill efficiency, 13% skill damage, and 8% skill efficiency. Holy smokes. Hana Yu's now got skill damage and a buffed weapon damage. Murakami now has 52% repair skills on the 3-piece, no longer on the 2-piece, but it's much bigger. R&K gets 10% skill haste at the beginning. Wyvern's had the status effect buff there as well. 511 with 12% protection from elites on the 1-piece bonus. Almost a free 13% PFE there. Badger's got armor on kill. Threat protection at Bellstone. Interesting. Healer Guard now looks like a proper tank set with Hasbro built into there as well. Golan has 150% threat detection if you go 3-piece. Habsburger's got 24% MMR damage now on the 2-piece. But remember, that is a blue core. I'm happy to see that Palisade still kept its 10% armor on kill. I've got some unicorns around that. But the 2-piece bonus now has 24% protection from elites. Lengmore, this is going to upset some people. The unicorns have now disappeared. And that's the same for the HG as well here. The 3-piece HG's gone. And the unicorns have gone. We got 24% LMG damage in the second slot now instead. Cheska has lost out on the Hasbro. It's now been moved to the 3-piece. Araldi got a little bit of a buff there as well. Douglas and Harding gets 24% pistol damage on the 1-piece. Fenris has been buffed to 12, but with magazine size on the 2-piece. Imminent Armaments now is a pistol set as well. So it looks like all of the sets get 2 damage bonuses. Apart from HG and Lengmore, they're a bonus set for snipers and LMGs. But for instance here, let's just find one here. So Fenris has 12% AR damage. But if we scroll down, Unit Alloys has 24% on the 2-piece. So there's always a 1-piece bonus and a 2-piece, and it seems to be that 12% and then a move to 24 to balance that out. Petrov has now got a buff, so that's gone to 10 from 10 to 12 for the base damage. So contractors, gloves, wearers are going to be happy about that. Legatus has had a complete rework. Overlord has got 12% now as well. Royal Works had pretty much a rework as well. LMG damage and accuracy now in there instead. Sokolov very much remained unchanged apart from a little bit of a boost on the SMG damage. Unit Alloys as well, just a boost on the AR damage. Urban Lookout, a complete rework. Now it has MMR damage on it as well. Walker Harris got a 1% buff. Ziodoka then becomes the 24% as well. So we'll do a full video on this a little bit later, but it does look like my initial thoughts are that, yes, people will be upset because unicorns are going to be gone, but overall, now everything has a 1 and a 2 piece, and it seems to be that they're bringing in the era of balance. We've talked about determined already with the new iron will chess piece. But this has been changed as well. It only works with MMRs, rifles, and pistols. And in the version that we saw, it said that it just didn't work with shotguns. Pretty interesting. So that's going to be it for the video. Is there going to be some community outrage on this? I don't think so. Maybe I'll be wrong. I've been wrong before. But it certainly does look like they brought in an era of balance here with these brand set changes. I didn't see anything about a new gear set to test, unless I was tripping. Oh, there was one, wasn't there? There was the skill set. We covered it earlier on. Yeah, the Ember engine. So yeah, it's a skill set, which is not usually for me, so that's why I've not remembered it. But that's going to be it for the video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your juicy thoughts down below, because I bet there is going to be some. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.